Okay, good morning. This is good morning. Glad everybody can make it. Can you hear me okay? Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a fast drive. Richard and I started the Chief Postal Silent Safety Foundation, launched it at World Area Expo a year and a half ago. What do these Snickers have to do with my presentation? Heads up. Silent safety is nothing to snicker about. It's serious business. Silage is $365 a year. A lot of dairymen here, dairy people here. Somebody on every dairy in Wisconsin this morning said silage. Silage is $365 a year. Silage safety is serious business. Took this photo at a feed yard plant of mine on September 27, 2018 at 10:09. I was there with the nutritionist. We drove by the poultry silo. What do you see? What are the silage management concerns in this photo? There's a rake, there's a truck, there's a payloader. Well, we're undercutting the feed out face. We're not using the rake, okay? And we parked the truck too close to the silage, and the operator was working alone. 4 big mistakes, all 4 breaking protocols that have been put in place for the feed yard the year before. These 2 ladies lost a son and a brother to a preventable auto accident. Okay? This lady and those 2 children lost a son and a father to a preventable silage accident. We're going to come back to this slide at the end of my presentation. Silage Safety 101. I brought ample copies of the Silage Safety 101 handbook. I don't want to take them home. We have copies in both English and Spanish. Please take as many as you would like. Take one to your neighbor. Okay? So, an introduction to silage safety. Silage-related tragedies have no age boundaries. Okay? Bystanders of all ages have been seriously injured or killed by a silage accident. Okay? Accidents are caused by unsafe behavior or conditions due to the actions of people. Actions of people. Now, no one's ever stepped over a PTO shaft, right? No one's ever walked up to a silage feed out face that you couldn't reach the top of, right? No one's ever moved a forage harvester without honking 3 times, right? Yeah. So, we're not going to create a safety bubble, okay? But what we can do is put guidelines in place to significantly reduce the chance of having a serious injury or fatality, okay? And then here's the bottom line. Injury-related statistics suggest that employees do not consistently follow the recommended safety guidelines. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Complacency, you bet. So, what are major hazards we're dealing with in pits, bunkers, and piles? Wisconsin puts up twice as much silage as the next state. That's number 2. Okay? Wisconsin puts up more alfalfa silage than all but 3 other states put up corn silage. I think that makes silage safety even more significant in the state of Wisconsin. Okay? So, what are we dealing with? Fatigue, we get tired, complacency, truck or tractor rollover, run over by machinery or equipment, entanglement in machinery or equipment, fall from height, buried by silage avalanche, silo gas. 2 years ago, on Wednesday of World Dairy Expo, a farmer 20 miles from here was nearly overcome by silo gas in a high moisture corn power silo. It's real. Well, I missed my first silage wake-up call, June 16, 1974. Making dough-stage wheat. There's the blower that took my fingers. We plugged the blower for about the 4th time that load, Saturday afternoon, in a hurry. My turn to unplug the blower. Straddled the blower, took the ring clamp off, shoved the pipe, hand went in, boom. Didn't look over my right shoulder to see the PTO shaft making one more slow revolution. Lord did me a big favor that afternoon. Why? Because my fingers are not my graduate students. because we were alternating unplated below. But I didn't get it. I didn't talk about silage safety. Then, October 12, 1992, we're filling a bale bunker to show the Kansas beef producers what they were losing in silage strength by using big round bales as bunker walls. I'm on a single rear-tired old Heston tractor packing along this wall right here. When that bale slipped out, and that Heston tractor went to 60 degrees, and I was white knuckle hanging on. That bale had gone out another 5 feet, I'd have been involved in a tractor rollover. But I didn't get it. I still didn't talk about silage safety. Then, a student brought an article into my office from Successful Farming, September 2000, about Nick Schreiner, Athens, Wisconsin. How many know Nick? How many know what happened to Nick? Yeah. Second cut haylage on top of first. He's in the bunker talking to his nephew who's unloading silage through the skid steer. The avalanche came off, slammed Nick up against the skid steer bucket, broke his neck, quadriplegic. I visited Nick 2 years later. He's my hero. I started talking about silage safety. That was my first wake-up call. Second wake-up call came about a year later. Mac Rickles, nutritionist, good friend of mine, come in from Texas, pulled a sample, coached a Bermuda grass bunker, bent over the 5-gallon bucket, mixed the sample 20 feet away, and boom. The feeder saved his life because the feeder was in the payloader, saw Mac, knew approximately where Mac was, pulled Mac out. And Mac says, and I love his quote, you know, I've been in pits hundreds of times, you just become kind of complacent because nothing ever happens. It took that one time. Mac walks with hardly a limp today. I want to focus on 2 things this morning. Talk about entanglements in machinery and equipment, first-hand experience, and buried by an avalanche. Entanglements. We did a paper for the International Silage Conference last summer with a researcher from the University of Paraná in Curitiba, Brazil. We did an exhaustive internet search from 1st of January 2016 to November 2017. We found 18 fatalities globally by people being entangled in the front end of the forage harvester. And one of those was in New Jersey. Entanglement fatalities happen. Okay? So, every time I give a presentation, I'll say, hey, do you have a story? Do you have a testimony? Do you have a near miss? And last summer, I got 2. And I want to share them with you, okay? So I'm going to downsize this, and we're going to play a video, and we're going to hear firsthand from a friend of mine, Doug Sawatsky. The accident happened on June 21st, 1976, on the family farm in Waverly, Minnesota. Okay? When Doug was 13 years old. Okay? We're the second audience to see this video. Let's give it a try.
I'm Doug Sawatsky from Waverly, Minnesota. On June 21st of 1976, the apron broken on our silage remote wagon. And I took it upon myself to pull the wagon up to the silo and fork it out. The wagon didn't have a cover on it. Jim was with me. We both cleaned out the wagon when it was all done. We were straightening up the floor, and the beaters were still running as well as cross apron. The wagon was unloaded. We were sweeping up the floor with the fork. The fork got entangled in the beaters, and I grabbed for the fork, and I ended up in the beaters with the fork. Ended up getting beat up pretty bad from my waist down, broken femur, several lacerations, and ended up in the hospital with 5 weeks in traction to get my bone set in my leg. 3 months in the body cast after that, as well as recovery from pressures back to walking again, and a week of rehabilitation back in the hospital.
Now listen to this.
The only time I saw saw my dad cry. I'm lucky I didn't get conveyed into the wall.
Doug, that's an amazing story, and that's how were you rescued? How did they extract you from the front of that wagon?
Okay, when it all stopped after the key got shut off, I was hanging on to the front of the wagon. This is an old box, an old Decker box. There was no roof on it, 2 old beaters, not much about it. No safety mechanism to stop it.
Sure.
I remember the ambulance my dad came from the field. He held me until the ambulance got there, and they untangled me or whatever, got me out to the hospital. I went and then transferred further into the Twin Cities.
When the ambulance got there, were you removed from the beaters?
Correct.
Okay, so your dad consoled you while you were all during the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just a kid, 13 years old.
Yeah. And tomorrow's the 42nd anniversary.
42nd anniversary.
Yeah. Well, only by the grace of God did we survive that.
Correct.
Well, I really appreciate being a testimony for us to the foundation, and appreciate it very much.
I'm grateful to be here.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Only time he saw his dad cry. The next day I saw Doug in the hallway. He said, I forgot to say something really important. He said, my father didn't ask me to unload that wagon. I made that decision on my own. He wanted to make sure his father, didn't have any, thing to do with his accident. Silage avalanche survivors. We have a whole long list, okay? Good reporter, farmer, rancher, Betty Sanders, Al Cruz, beef nutritionist in my feeds class in 1974. Ted Graham was here from Ted. Steve Soderlin, retired beef nutritionist, one of my graduate students, and Doug McGraw, who's on our foundation board of directors. Okay? So, avalanches, they happen. Ask Doug McGraw. Yeah. Lights went out. He knew what was happening before he hit the ground. And in one of the articles, he said when he was rescued, the owner came and said, "Are you okay?" And Doug said to the owner, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then in parentheses, "I lied." He drove himself to the hospital with a broken back. Ted Graham's accident. You're going to be the second audience to hear about Ted Graham's accident. It happened in the late afternoon on Sunday, March 10th, 2001. As Ted recalls, it hadn't been a good day. It was gloomy. I didn't get to go to church. I was feeling down about a lot of things. My family knew that I probably wouldn't make it home for supper. Okay, let's play. It's about 3 minutes and 28 seconds, okay? Here we go. Ready?
Okay, this is Ted Graham, Central Minnesota, West Central Minnesota. Fall of 2000, our family's cattle operation hired our first custom harvesters. Previous to that, we would take almost 10 days to get our silage pile done. But anyway, we hired our first custom harvesters and put up a pile extremely fast. It wasn't packed right, probably wasn't mounted right, into a bunker. So it was 5-6 feet higher than our bunker, so it's probably a 15 to 16 foot wall. So this is the fall of 2000. So into the spring, it was a Sunday morning, kind of a gloomy March 10, I believe, 2001. And doing chores in the afternoon, I'd had kind of a sloppy day, didn't get to go to church, just feeling down and gloomy about flat. This was not a good Sunday. And my family was in the house. They knew I was out calving cows. They weren't worried about me. I mean, they just knew I was probably wasn't going to make it for supper. I had a tiger come down off the pile. It was weird. We fed up. We probably fed 10, 12 ton a day of silage. So we And I hadn't started a big track. We didn't have a defacer, so that was another problem. You know, the defacers came around after this. We had like a gravel fork on our old 96 loader track. It was our only defacer, but I didn't have that running. But anyway, I walked up to the pile, grabbed the tire, and that's the last thing I knew, the avalanche hit. And, you know, definitely a guiding me, you know, powers above for sure. My brother drove in the yard at the same time that avalanche happened and saw me get there, knew where I was.
Wow.
And he started digging. He found my behind. My head had hit the ground. My head was on the ground. There was no wind. I mean, I was knocked out. But anyway, so it was a displaced ankles. Had surgeries on both knees. Now this is 17, 18 years later, and I'm, you know, been able to enjoy a pretty productive career. But these types of things are real, and it happens. I can remember a week before my accident, I had told one of our young hired help, who was probably still in high school, I said, "Be careful with that pile. That looks dangerous." And here, a couple days later, it hits me. So I guess if there's one thing I was glad it's me and not him. But very fortunate that I can have a
Okay, after powerful testimony, how long do you suppose you were in that silence? 30 seconds?
Yeah, probably no more than a minute. I saw a lot of things while I was in that pile. I could see my kids around the table.
You see his kids around the table. Powerful. Avalanche fatalities. Faces with names. We have a whole long list, unfortunately. Andrew Wheeler, 11-year-old boy with Rockland Farms in New Hampshire. Matt Winklebauer, feed yard owner, Norfolk, Nebraska. Daniel Andrade, 9-year-old boy on the family dairy farm in Brazil on a Sunday afternoon. Victor Conte Reynoso, employee of Twin View Farms, Platteville, Colorado. And of course, last November 30th in Michigan, veterinarian Garth Cummings, Red Arrow Dairy, Middleville, Michigan. Yeah. Fatalities happen. 4 years ago, and Stephanie Jens is sitting back here, Stephanie and I played publicly for the first time our silage safety video. Got a few extra copies with me. If you would like to take one home, or if you want one, Ruthie will make sure you get one in the mail next week, okay? For the sake of time, I'm not going to play about 3.5 minutes from this video. It's a recovery effort in a remote area. Jason Edward Leadingham was a haulback driver for Turtle Farms, and they sold silage to dairies in the Roswell area. And there were 2 large overfilled bunkers in a remote area north of Dexter. And Jason was loading silage, he pulled a sample, and boom, down came the avalanche. The next haulback driver came, Jason's truck was running, he called one of the owners, took 45 minutes to call 911. Jason was rescued the body was recovered about 2.5 hours later. And in the recovery effort, there were a lot of people in harm's way. We've talked about this. And a very significant event in our life, because I'm going to move on to the next slide. Take home message. I want to get to it quick. Accidents change lives and families forever. Who said that? Good friend of mine, Glenn Jansen, silage contractor, Plymouth, Nebraska. A split second of inattention can cause a fatal accident, and nothing will ever be the same again. Glenn can't watch our video. Doug DeGroff and I did a safety workshop for U.S. Custom Harvesters 2 years ago in Omaha. Glenn can't watch it. Why? About 8 years ago, his son came into the field. The chopper was going to move across the fence line to the next field. He talked to the chopper operator. They parted company. The chopper operator drove away to the next field. The truck driver came in behind him. 5 minutes later, saw Justin Jensen laying on the ground. He'd been run over by the rear tire of the chopper. He died 2 hours later in a hospital in Lincoln. They don't know how or why the accident happened. But as Glenn said in a U.S. Custom Harvester safety video, it changed their family's life forever. And he said, I used to see my grandson a lot. Now I hardly see my grandson. So back to the beginning. 51 weeks before Ruthie and I went on our first date in September of 2002, she lost her son, Craig, in a car accident, single car accident. He was coming home from a wedding. He was an attorney in Gulf Shores, Alabama, single parent of a 2.5-year-old. Ruthie has Craig days. There's nothing I can say or do to console her. Wayne Leadingham lost her son, Jason. Those two little kids lost their dad. You know, Ruthie and Lane have become close friends. They've never met personally. We didn't communicate with Lane until about a year after we got involved in Jason's accident. And she said Ruthie was the first person that really understood her grief, okay? Accidents change lives and families forever. We'll close with a couple of emails we got from Lane Leadingham, okay? First one came January of 2017. Thank you, God. Next Friday, January 13th, will be 3 years since Jason's tragic accident. I remember the phone call like it was yesterday. I suppose I really am better, but it still crushes my heart and hurts me to my core. I try to make sense of his death, and so far the video is the only positive thing to come out of it. I can never tell you thank you enough, and I know you share the pains of my heart, Ruthie. We loved our boys so much. We miss our boys more than words can express. Hugs to you and Keith. And we got another one later in that year. Thanks for caring about not only my son and the sadness that my family faces daily, but all the others before him and the ones to be protected by your efforts. I love you both dearly. And that was after she found out that we started the Silage Safety Foundation. Powerful message from this mother. Okay? So, in conclusion, what's our goal? Send all our employees home safe at the end of the day. Don't take anything for granted. Let me give you an example. I work with a lot of silage contractors, a lot of packing contractors, a lot of covering contractors in the High Plains. So let's say we've got 3 choppers running and 4 or 5 pack tractors. We're going to start at 7:30 in the morning, and we're going to finish around 8 or 8:30. And I'm the packing contractor, and I got 4 tractors there. Do I have 5 drivers? Do they get to rotate, take a break? In our handbook from the Fraze Brothers Harvesting in Inman, Kansas, is a powerful photo that we got permission to use. I'll show it to you in the handbook from a distance, but you'll get the message. There we go. See the end gate of the pickup, you can see the 4 lawn chairs, and 2 or 3 children playing, and in the background you can see 2 John Deere choppers and trucks parked. Fraze family tells all their clients we take minimum 2 20-minute breaks, everything shuts down. We take a lunch break, we take a dinner break when we're in the middle of the harvest season. I think that's powerful. I think that's powerful. But the good news is, if I'm an end user, dairy, feedlot, and in my silage program, anything I do to make it safer makes it more efficient. So there's a synergy between safety and efficiency. Those are 2 biggest problems in our silage industry globally. Strength loss is too high too often, and safety. And they're synergistic. And I think that's the good news. That's the good news. We're an email, phone call away. We did our first on-farm silage safety training at Table Rock Farm, Cast Isle, New York, for Megan Hauser and her father, Willard DeGollier. We'll go anywhere, anytime to talk about silage safety. It's $365 a year. Send all employees home safe at the end of the day. Take a handbook home, take one home to your neighbor, and visit us on the website. I want to thank PDPW again I started working with PDPW in 2003. My favorite organization to work with. This is my favorite meeting to come to. Now, I'm going to finish with this. How much can you bench press?
Probably not much.
Around 200?
Okay.
Okay. I picked on this young man earlier. Okay? How much time? We have 5 minutes? Okay. And I thought about this 2 years ago when I was teaching a class at K-State. I was up in front of the classroom and I had 22 students, seniors. And here's a 6-foot table in front of the classroom. My safety presentation. And I'd gone to the rec complex and I knew there were kids in my class pumping iron. So I picked on 2 of them and I said, how much can you bench press? The first guy said 310, the other guy said 325. First guy doesn't have a chance. So I said, you guys are laying flat on your back under this table in a bench press position. Now this table is 3 feet wide, 3 feet high, 6 feet long. How many cubic feet is that? And I said, I'm going to cover you up with that volume of silage. And let's say it's 30 pounds per cubic foot. I just covered you up with 1,500 pounds of silage. And you're in a bench press position, you are going to die right there. Unless the buddy rule's in place. Because you are not going to move. You are going to be immobile. You're under 1,500 pounds. Even though you're 60 inches from the surface, 36 inches from the surface. You're going to die right there. The buddy rule saves lives. The buddy rule says. Jason Edward Leadingham was under 3 feet of silage when they found him. The buddy rule would have saved his life. He didn't have any other life-threatening injuries. He suffocated. He died a horrible death. That was avoidable. Don't let anybody work around the bunker pile by themselves. Fall from heights. I didn't have time to get into it. 2 dairies in Wisconsin have put in place harness and tether to prevent fall from heights. And they're both your PDPW physical. Powerful safety are put in place. Fall from heights, prevent them. We had a fall from height fatality in Wisconsin about 5 years ago. We had one in Ohio in June. An employee fell off a 10-foot bunker wall. Children, they didn't have time to get into it. We're expecting our 11th grade grandchild. Safety vest. And I forgot again to wear my safety vest. Be visible. Okay? Send all employees home safe for the weekend. Come and visit us. Questions? I'm done. Doug, good to see you, buddy. Good morning. Yes, Brian. Milk Source has a cable that runs over the top, and they're hooked to the cable. Wayside Dairy has stake in the back end of the silage. Yeah. And I think that same stake and, back in the silage is what they're using at Fair Oaks. Okay, fall from heights is real. We've got 25, 30-foot silage faces, and I see a fork up there. And I'm saying, bad idea. Bad idea. I don't want to fall 25 feet on the concrete or asphalt. I don't want to go down with an avalanche. We're going to have to start rethinking how much we uncover at a time. Because we've got to keep people away from the edge. In our handbook, we say no closer to the edge than the height of the feed out face. That's excessive, probably. In the handbook, we say no closer to the feed out face than 3 times its height. That's probably excessive. Yeah. I've seen avalanches up close and personal. A chunk of silage falls. That's a cubic yard. How much does it weigh? 900 pounds. And it nails you. You're going to be seriously injured. They not bury you, but getting hit with it. And it's going about 40 miles an hour if it drops 20 feet. So you just got hit with a projectile that weighs 900 pounds going 40 miles an hour. It's going to flatten you. Yeah. Silage is fun, versatile, but it's dangerous. Dangerous. Okay? Nothing to snicker. Okay? have a safe silent season. Whew, I'm pooped. Fast drive, you can unbuckle your seatbelts. Thanks for coming.